Auto blogs are blogs that run on autopilot. They're basically self-populating blogs and a rapid way of setting up a network of sites. They're really, really useful for you to use for short-term income. Now, auto blogs are very, very powerful. They're very easy to set up, and if you do them right, you can roll out an auto blog in 5 to 10 minutes. You know, in an hour you could set up 5 or 6 sites easily, perhaps even more, depending on how quick you are with them. So you can really, really do some very, very good things with auto blogs. You do have to be aware that some search engines will consider auto blogs to be spam, but set up properly, and as we're going to talk about in this program, you'll be able to create a network of auto blogs that will last and run well for you. As long as you've got the right tools, an auto blog is easy to do. Without the right tools, you're going to struggle to make money with auto blogs. I mean, you can set them up and you can get them going, but you really, really want to have the right tools. And what we're going to do in this video training program is show you the right tools that you need to set up your auto blog. Now, typically an auto blog is based on WordPress. Now, obviously it's free to use, which is one of the big reasons to use it. It's good for SEO. It comes with lots of different plugins. It's very easy to use, and it's basically perfectly designed for auto blogs. Now, there are other blogging platforms out there that you could use if you wanted to, but they don't have the same functionality that WordPress does. WordPress is really, really advantageous. And if you have Fantastico, then you can install it with a couple of clicks. Same with Simple Scripts if your web host has that. So WordPress is the platform of choice here. Now, the whole aim of the game is that once you set the sites up, they run without your manual input. You don't have to do anything with the sites except set them up and let them going. Once they get going, then you're fine, and your site will run, and it will basically climb up the search engines and run itself pretty much on autopilot. It's a very, very powerful method of earning money, and it's a good way of setting up a good passive income stream. So they're a good additional stream of income, another way for you to earn money. You know, you may have membership sites, other AdSense sites, and so on, but auto blogs are a really, really good way for you to get going and make money. So what are we going to talk about in this program? We're going to start about talking about exactly what auto blogs are. We've had a brief introduction to them, but we're going to go into more detail about what they are and how to use them. We're going to talk about why they're profitable and why they can provide you with an excellent stream of income. They're very, very powerful, very good, so we just want to talk about those. We're going to talk about what to watch out for when you are creating auto blogs as well. Now, there's a number of pitfalls, a number of possible problems. So what we want to do is we want to talk about those and make you aware of the potential issues that you are facing with auto blogs and how you can get round them and create successful auto blogs that sit there and earn money for you and aren't delisted or deleted or otherwise removed. I'm going to show you how to install and configure an auto blog. Now, obviously that's not something that perhaps you know how to do, so we're going to show you exactly how to do that. We're going to demonstrate some auto blogging software, so I'm going to show you some of the plugins you can use for WordPress and how they can help you to set up a really, really good looking and powerful auto blog, and ultimately that's what you're after achieving. We're also going to show you a couple of special plugins. These are particularly good plugins and they can be used to help you monetize your blog, so they're very, very powerful, very good. So I'm quite excited to show you those. We're also going to show you some tips for succeeding with auto blogs. Now, obviously, as I said, you can set up an auto blog, anyone can set them up, but to do well with them, you need some insider information. I mean, you can work it out through trial and failure if you want. That's your prerogative, but in order to really learn how to succeed with auto blogs, you can learn from someone who's been there and done it and made those mistakes. So you can speed up your learning curve by listening to these tips and implementing them on your websites. And of course, there's going to be much, much more. Now, an auto blog network can make you an awful lot of money. It will run on autopilot, so there's nothing for you to do with it. And of course, you can have options, down the line. Once they're making money, you can always sell them on or anything like that. So there's lots and lots of different choices you can make here with the auto blogs for how you earn from it. Now you can earn from affiliate commissions, you can earn from AdSense commissions, you can earn from any other type of advertising you want. So we're going to go into a lot more detail now. So I want to start going into more detail about what an auto blog is and how they work. So we're going to talk about that in the next video. So let's go into a bit more detail about what auto blogging actually is. Well, auto blogging is about creating a network of self-populating websites. They are websites which automatically add content, generate traffic, rank well, and earn for you. The whole auto bit stands for automatic. It's all about setting everything up on autopilot so it's automatically working for you. So you can see instantly it's a very powerful stream of income. If you can set one of these sites up in between 5 and 15 minutes, and get it running, then obviously you can create a vast number of these sites very, very quickly. And of course, they can make you a good amount of money. If you pick the right keywords and they rank really well, then you can do very, very well with auto blogs. So the aim of the game, they are all completely self-populating, running on autopilot with no manual intervention by yourself. The idea is that you're not turning up every week to add new content or change the advertising, banners or anything like that at all. The whole point of auto blogging is that you are setting them up so that you never have to come back and touch them again. You're not fussed about upgrading plugins unless there's a major problem with them. You're not fussed about upgrading WordPress or anything like that. You just want them to stay there and run and earn money for you. So what you do is, using the plugins and the tools that we'll talk about throughout this video course, you can set them up so that they automatically add content at intervals specified by yourself. So you can set it to add just a couple of pieces a day or 10 pieces a day or whatever it might be. But you do need to be aware that you've got to think naturally when you do this. You've got to think about how would a normal website add new content in the real world, if you like. If it was a real blog and not an auto blog, how regularly and how often would content be added? So you do need to consider that. So what I recommend is that you add no more than a few pieces of content a day, 2, 3, 4, maybe 5 at a push. If you can, you want to do it at random times. So you may say, well, I'll do it every 5.5 hours. I'll add a piece of content every 7.5 hours, every 10 hours. You may say, well, I will add new content 3 times a day, whatever it might be. Depends on the plugin you're using as to how you can specify the intervals. And then all you need to do is do some simple traffic generation with them. It shouldn't take too long to do, simply because they're very, very highly targeted websites, so they'll rank fairly well naturally by themselves. So a bit of social bookmarking, a couple of articles, etc, etc, and you should be ranking very, very well. So basically, auto blogging is a quick way of creating a huge network of sites. So if you think about it, and I can, say it takes me 10 minutes to create an auto blog. That means I can create 6 an hour, doesn't it? So, if I work 8 hours a day, 8 6s, what's that? 8, 16, 24, 32, 40, 48. I can create 48 sites a day. So in a week, times that by 5, you're talking 240 sites in a week. So, you can create an awful lot of sites with these. So even if each one just earns even 50 cents a day for you, on average, you're still talking in a week you've created a daily income of $120 a day. So there's a lot of potential with these sites. And of course, once you set up the auto blogs, if you find some that are doing really, really well, there's nothing to stop you turning it into a proper authority site and expanding upon it, or generating more sites within that niche. So the key is to do your keyword research and then make sure you're ranking very, very quickly. If you've got good keywords and you've targeted them properly, then your auto blog will rank surprisingly quickly. So what can you do with these sites? Well, one of the things you can do is you can build the sites to flip. You can set it up as an auto blog, run it for a few months, get it ranking, get it earning, and then you can sell it for 6 to 10 times the earnings. So you can do very, very well. You can turn it from an auto blog into a normal blog, then disable all the auto blogging functions, you know, and leave it running and sell it. If you are selling an auto blog, you do have to make sure that what the permissions you have on any plugins you're using. If you bought any plugins, you may not be able to sell those with the website. You may have to remove them first, or insist that the buyer purchase a license. Now obviously this is a good choice, as you can create the sites and keep them, and you can earn from them regularly. So yeah, if you've built your network of 1,000 sites, you can earn from them, you know, for as long as you want to, as long as they're ranking and doing well. Or another alternative is, if you remember, how do you cook spaghetti? You cook it and then you throw it against the wall and see if it sticks. And that's one of the analogies we can use here. You basically create hundreds and hundreds of sites, throw it against the wall, see which sticks. You find the ones that are profitable and doing well, and expand into those niches. You may create other sites within those niches, other authority sites. You may create products within those niches and whatever. But it's a good way for you to test out a number of niches very quickly and determine which are going to be profitable. So it doesn't matter whether you're a novice or advanced marketer or anywhere in between. It doesn't matter if you're just setting out on your adventure into internet marketing. You can still use auto blogs. Auto blogs don't require any particular skill. It just requires patience and the ability to do some keyword research and set the sites up. So it's not too difficult to use. Now WordPress is our platform of choice, and it's completely free. I would not recommend doing a manual install because it takes far too much time. I would make sure that your web host has either Simple Scripts or Fantastico, and that you install it from there, simply because it's a lot quicker. Now if you're doing it manually, it could take you quite a while. Do it through Fantastico, it will take you 60 seconds if you type slowly. So it's not going to take you a lot of time to do. So WordPress is the platform of choice because there's so many options available with it. Now we are going to talk about some plugins in this course that are going to cost you some money, but ultimately at the end of the day, and trust me, I've done some research here, they are absolutely the best plugins for auto blogs, and they will make sure that you make decent money from them. You can use some of the free plugins, but they do not give you the flexibility and the functionality that the paid plugins do. The paid plugins will really help you to create fantastically profitable sites very easily. So auto blogs are an easy way to create a network of profitable sites. You can create 50, 100 sites a week, maybe more. So you can see very quickly you can build up a massive amount of auto blogs. And these can earn well for you. You could build up a network of auto blogs in the particular sites, and you can use them to promote your real money sites. You could do that. You could use them as a way to get incoming links through to your sites, a way to really boost your network, other websites. So it's a fantastic level of opportunity here with auto blogs. They're really powerful tools for you to use. And ultimately, you're only limited in what you can do with them with your imagination and the amount of time you're willing to spend messing around with them. So you now know what auto blogs are. You know roughly what they're going to do. You know what you could do with the auto blogs, and now we want to go into a bit more detail about the auto blogs themselves and what to look out for with them and how to start setting them up. Now, auto blogs in the past have got a bit of a bad reputation because they are used in many cases by spammers. What I want to do is just show you some of the possible issues with them and how you can overcome them. Now, you do have to be careful with your auto blogs that they aren't classified as spam sites. If you leave footprints, if you make all the sites identical, you use the same template, and they're all just full of useless information, then they aren't going to do well in the search engines. Sooner or later, the search engines will work out that you've created a load of spam sites, and it will delist them all. And if that happens and it's your only source of income, basically you're screwed. You've lost everything. And don't think it won't happen. It has happened. Go and search any of the internet marketing forums and you'll hear all sorts of horror stories about how this sort of thing happens. I mean, several years ago there was what is famously known as the Google slap happened. This was, if you remember, it was about 3 or 4 years ago. If you searched for anything in Google, all you got was rubbish sites full of adverts and links to other sites. There was no useful information. Google was basically pointless. You know, you couldn't find anything good in it. And then one morning, internet marketers woke up and found that their network of these, you know, rapidly created sites that had been flung up onto the internet had disappeared. And people literally, and this is 100% serious, people went from, you know, $100,000 a month or, you know, $10,000 a month incomes to zero overnight. Their businesses were destroyed because they're just focused on creating these, you know, mass generated sites, use scrape content, and their businesses were ruined. So whilst auto blogs are good, take steps to make sure they don't get classified as spam sites, and also create other sites as well so that it's not your only stream of income. It's never a good idea in business to have all your eggs in one basket. So you need to take some steps to ensure that they're not classified as spam sites, and that's what this video is about. So when you're creating your site, if you think about your end user, think about their needs, and you create a site that basically gives them some useful information, you're going to do okay. You want to avoid being classified as a spam site because you could get your site delisted from the search engines. If that happens, then you would have to rework the website, put lots of unique content on it, and go crawling to the search engine gurus, the people that run them, and beg them to let your site go back in and that you've changed your ways. It might be a bit of a struggle, but they've got no need to let you back in. They can turn around and go, nope, not interested, and not let you in at all. Or the absolute worst case scenario, and this is one that you've got to hope doesn't happen, is you get blacklisted. And basically when this happens, it means that your domain has become useless and you may as well let it expire. There's no point in having a domain. It's not going to do well, it's never going to get ranked again, and basically the search engines will just ignore anything linking to that domain. So you want to really avoid that fate. So what you have to do is ensure that auto blogs still provide valuable information. So I know that these are going to be scrape sites and going to be taking content from other sites and rapidly created, but you still have to think about providing valuable information. If you can do that, then obviously that's going to help you a lot. What you need to do is you need to mix up a combination of unique content, PLR content, and content scraped from sites like Amazon, article directories, Yahoo Answers, etc., etc. So you need to mix them all up really to get the best content. Making sure that you've got some unique content on there obviously takes you a step away from the spam site and will help the search engines to realize your site's valuable. My personal preference is to always make sure the homepage is unique at the very least, and that way, you know, people are going to see that it's unique content. The search engines will see that it's unique content, and hopefully, you know, there's not going to be any issues with the site. So if you want to avoid being classed as spam, you need to make sure you don't leave a footprint on all of your sites. Now, a footprint is something that is common to all of your sites, something that makes it very easy for someone to identify the fact that your site is an auto-generated site. So, you know, in the old days, you'd have software that would create a site and it would say at the top in the meta tag, created by this auto creation spamming software, which of course is dead giveaway. So you need to make sure that you don't leave a footprint, and part of what we're going to talk about now is how not to leave any footprints. So by using some unique content, you are avoiding footprints, because of course one of the footprints of a spam site is that it doesn't have any unique content. So just having a little bit of that on your site, that instantly takes you a big step away from spam sites. So a good bit of unique content will help you. One thing you can use is a uniqueifier plugin. Often you have to buy these, and basically these are plugins that fool the search engines into believing that the content on your website is unique. The downside of these is, of course, that the search engine owners are well aware of them, and of course are constantly buying the new versions of the uniqueifier plugins themselves, messing around with them, and then making sure that their search engines go past them. So you have to continually update uniqueifier plugins. You know, you're talking sort of at least once a week, and if you've got 1,000 sites, that's quite a lot of work to update them. So a uniqueifier plugin quickly becomes out of date. It can be useful, but only if it's going to be automatically updated. But again, you can get around that by using some unique content as well. So if you make sure that every page, every website has a unique meta tags, keywords and title, now you're going to have to use an all-in-one SEO plugin or Platinum SEO plugin for this, but you make sure that you have a unique set of meta tags and keywords, then again that's going to help, because a lot of spam sites, they just use the same title on every page, the same meta tags and the same meta keywords. So again, that's going to help you remove yourself from being a spam site. You also need to vary the templates and layouts. A lot of people that create spam sites just use the default WordPress template. So every site, have different layouts, different templates and so on. Again, you don't want to spend too long on them because these are rapidly created sites, but vary the different templates. Another thing that you can do is don't host too many auto blogs on a single hosting account. If you look at sort of 7 to 10, maybe slightly more at the tops, then again, that's not going to give the game away. If Google comes along and they sort of look at your IP address and they see that there's 800 auto blogs on that one IP address, and the 800 blogs on that one IP address, and they all look very similar, that's going to give away a little about the whole it's an auto blog. So you can create multiple hosting accounts, just the one cheap ones, and create a number of auto blogs on there. You can of course use the same hosting to create a number of your other websites as well. And you want to switch hosting and IP addresses, so you have different hosts. You can buy IP addresses for a couple of dollars a month from a lot of places, so you can use different IP addresses, and that's really going to help you to vary your the way your sites look. Do sort of up to about 10 per IP address, and again, your sites are going to look different. They're not going to look like they are spam sites. So these are some techniques for avoiding being classed as spam. Now later on, towards the end of this video series, we're going to talk about how some tips for success with auto blogs, but I want you to take this into account, what we just talked about, as we go through creating the auto blogs and you start creating yours. Avoid leaving a footprint. Don't just use scraped content. Use some unique content. Use unique meta tags and keywords. Vary the templates, and don't host too many auto blogs on a single IP address or hosting account. And all that is going to help you to step away from spam, and it's going to mean that your site isn't going to run the risk of being classed as spam, and it will have a much longer life. Remember, you don't want to create an auto blog, get it earning, and then sort of a week later find that it's been delisted. You want to build these up so that they have a reasonably long shelf life. And obviously that's going to be much better for you and for your income. So you may want to write some of these techniques down that we just talked about, these tips, but keep them in mind when you're creating the sites. They're very important, and they're going to make sure that your auto blogs do much better than perhaps auto blogs created by other people. Yes, it may take you a few minutes longer to do these, but you're going to have the benefit of longer living sites, and that's ultimately going to create you a much better income. Let me finish off now by giving you some tips for helping you to succeed with an auto blog. Now, an auto blog is something that can make you a lot of money online. You can create an awful lot of them, and through that generate a really nice passive income. So in order to succeed, the first thing is you've got to pick the right keywords. You've got to find keywords that you can rank for relatively easily and get yourself up in the search engines for without too much work. You don't want to create an auto blog based around keywords like weight loss, for example, that are highly competitive. You want really narrow, targeted websites so that you can get lots and lots of people through to your site. So that's the aim of the game here with an auto blog, is to basically get yourself ranking really well. You've got to pick the right keywords. You've got to focus on those keywords throughout your content and through your whole SEO. The perfect ones are ones that are low competition but high traffic. So you're going to have to do your keyword research and expect to spend some time on it. Don't expect it to magically sort of happen and you to find keywords that sort of pop up out of thin air. You need to do some work and find those keywords, and doing that research up front will make sure that you earn an awful lot more money from your sites because they're going to rank quicker. But basically, auto blogs are a numbers game. the more sites you have, the more you earn. Don't expect an auto blog to make, a single auto blog to make you rich. It's highly unlikely. But if you've got 1,000 or 2,000 or 10,000 or 100,000 of these sites, then they're likely to make you extremely rich. So you do need to think about that. It is a numbers game. Don't create 1 or 2 sites and then go, oh, I'm not making millions of dollars. Don't expect to. A couple of sites you can expect, $5, $10 a week maybe. But as I said, once you've got 100 sites up, then you can sit there and go, I'm earning nicely now. So, the more sites you have, the more you're going to earn. But you've got to get the balance between scraped and unique content, and you do need to vary this across your sites. Remember, we said earlier on that you want to avoid leaving footprints. So, if you always have your home page is unique, and then this page is that, and then that page is the other, then that's going to give it away. So, always balance the scraped and unique content, so that you have a bit of both. Basically, you want some unique and some scraped, some PLR, that sort of thing, but get the balance right. But I would recommend that you don't make auto blogs your only online sites. Certainly have them as a stream of income, but just in case something happens to them or Google decides to change its mind about sites, have other streams of income. You do not want to run the risk of having your business wiped out because of one of the whims of Google. So you've got to balance auto blogs with genuine blogs and other information sites, products for sale, shopping carts, membership sites, etc, etc, etc. So you've got to get the balance between them all right, and if you can do that, then you're going to do very, very well. Auto blogs will provide you with an excellent additional stream of income and balance it with your other internet marketing activities, and you can generate a lot of money and do very, very well. So one thing to always do with your auto blogs is to try and add value. Thinking about adding value will help to make sure that your blogs survive longer. It will help to make sure that they do better and they get more traffic. Created well, you can get incoming links from other sites. I've created auto blogs, and because I've thought about what are people looking for, I'm having incoming links from people all over the place who are referring to the site because it's got valuable information on and could be considered an authority site. So always think about that. Focus on the needs of your reader. Think about what is your website visitor looking for when they come to that site. Are they looking to buy? Are they looking for information? And that's going to help you also to determine what sort of adverts you place. Are you going to place, I don't know, ClickBank adverts where they're buying the product, or are you going to give them information and AdSense adverts so that they can click on the links to get more information? But you want to make each site unique. I know it's tempting to just use one template and fling them out there really, really quickly, but spend some time making each site unique. And again, it's going to step you away from possible spam sites and make sure that your auto blogging network lives an awful lot longer. If a site does well, then look at manually adding additional content. So if you've got a site and it's doing really well, it's getting a lot of traffic, you might want to add more content. You might want to get some unique content written and added to it. You may want to create additional sites in that niche based on other keywords. So think about all of that when you're creating your auto blogs. There's a lot of potential there. You may create other sites. I may have my auto blog and then realize, well, actually I want to create a membership site, a product site. I may want to create a couple more authority sites. I may want to target other keywords and really sort of give it a good boost. But if a site gets blacklisted, which may or may not happen, don't get emotionally entangled in it. Just go, oh well, and move on. There's pretty much nothing you can do about it. You can try appealing, but you're going to get caught up in the long process. So if it gets blacklisted, don't renew your domain name. Just move on and get on with other sites. Just consider it a sort of a casualty of business, if you like. It may well happen. I'm not saying it will, but if it does, then obviously you need to just move on and not get tangled up with it. And remember, with all these auto blogs, you're looking at a rapid turnaround. You're looking at creating sites very quickly and getting them out there. You don't want to spend 3 or 4 days creating a site. An hour tops. If you're looking at a network of 1,000 sites, if you spend an hour per site, that's 1,000 hours. So you need to, when you're doing this, always think about automation. How can you do things quicker and better and faster with less work? And the more you can think about that, then obviously the quicker you can create the sites. As I said, if it takes you 2 hours to create a site, it's going to take you a long time to create 1,000 sites. If it takes you 15 minutes, it's going to take you an awful lot less time. So you've always got to think about how can you do them faster and better. So when you're working on your auto blogs and you see something, you think, well, I could probably do this better. Do it better and see if it speeds things up. So remember, it's all about, it's a numbers game. It's about creating the sites rapidly and getting them up there. But your auto blogs are can be very valuable to you. I would strongly recommend that you use them and that you enjoy them, because there's a lot of potential with an auto blog. You know, you can create many of these sites, you can create great additional stream of income, and of course the sites don't need any manual intervention whatsoever, which means that you can run them on autopilot and just concentrate on building more sites and generating other parts of your business. When you've got 500, 1,000 or so of these, you could be earning a significant amount of money, and it's all on autopilot with no input from yourself. So always sit and think about that when you're creating these. These sites are very powerful. They run with no manual intervention, they auto-populate, and they generate you an income pretty much on autopilot. So now you know everything you need to know about auto blogging. It's time for you to start it. Remember, when you're creating these sites, look at how you can do it better, and if you find a way, then do it better by all means, please. You know, there are better ways of doing some of this, there are faster ways, and I'm sure you're going to find them. So now you have the tools, it's time for you to go out, start creating your auto blogs, see how many can you get done in the next week, and see how quickly they will rank for you and how quickly they will earn for you.